Chips left somewhere in the pantry around here.
And since we're bringing up this
On another day, I don't know if I'd be with you, but today...
since we're bringing this idea up live on air, I think they're going to have to do it.
I think so, too.
There you go.
All right, let's get into the draft here. The Ziggs respect for APA remains very much true, and the Thanatos respect for the Aurora here. He is a monster Aurora up there. Thanatos has some very specific champions, but he is very, very fearsome on all of them. You know, the Renekton, the Gnar type things also go into that bucket. Rumble is banned here, so that takes one more off the top lane list.
Yeah, Rumble's banned away. The Orianna and the Varus are banned out, and critically, Nico gets banned here. So Ori's banned away, but Azir is not. Oftentimes, these get banned away in pairs. So I'm curious if that's going to be Cloud9's first pick priority here.
I also really like the Nico ban, not just because it is a powerful support, because APA is also willing to play it, right? He's one of the only mid laners that is kind of playing it these days, so it is a little bit of a double ban. But Taliyah plus Pantheon, prime combo. Taliyah, I think, is APA's best champ these days, at least that we're seeing him actually be allowed to play.
Yeah, and Taliyah is a nullifier for Azir, so the Azir you're talking about, Flowers, it is a high priority, and even though APA has, this year and then at the end of last year, been a lot better on Azir than in the past, they still seem like they want to play this style where, he is going to be on a mid lane champion that can really play for jungle. And so they are going to go for the Taliyah. Yeah, I would assume they're going Taliyah plus either Pantheon or Vi type champions for Blaber. This is an important takeaway from Thanatos, though. Stealing away the Ambessa, which could go to jungle for HamBak if they don't want impact on a top carry champion. It looks like they don't instantly. Yeah. So it's not instantly revealed the flex pick is not really that flexible for this team.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is Renekton is up. It's one of Thanatos' best champs, and that's a really hard matchup. So I was going to be assuming that it probably would go jungle.
And you basically, if it's a full best of 5 fearless, you headshot 2 Thanatos champions in the first game is really good.
Bang.
Take his Ambessa out, take his Renekton out. Those will be permanently banned for the rest of the series.
I think Gnar, though, seems then the obvious option. I think it's a really strong champ. It's a good answer into the Renekton, so that's kind of what I'm expecting to be locked in, and there it is.
3 of them out in the first game.
Yeah, we'll see, though. You have to be able to last long enough in the series for this to come into play, but I do like this strategy, and we'll see how HamBak can perform in it, because HamBak, to me, has had really good early games. He seems like a player who wants to take risks, and when they pay off, he looks amazing. When they don't, sometimes the game snowballs the other way.
And I feel like having a Gnar, having a powerful side lane champion feels extra good when you have this Taliyah Pantheon combo. You guys mentioned Pantheon and Vi both being great pairings. I personally like seeing Pantheon with Taliyah more because they both have the double super long range ultis. You can just make absolute chaos in side lanes.
And we actually discussed this a lot on the dive, but how well APA and Blaber have been playing together. When you have point and click stun to set up seismic shove combos, these two can just wreak havoc. So going to be fairly difficult, I would think, for DARKWINGS here as far as the jungle pressure goes, because Pantheon early Pantheon ganks with flash point and click stun are going to be way more fearsome than Ambessa coming at you and just trying to walk and dash in range here. So Blaber has been an absolute terror early on. We'll see if it does continue. Bottom lane priority, though. A lot of bans coming through here towards some of these enchanters, like Nami and stuff. Lane priority definitely will be big.
It will, and that's why I'm thinking about, we've been seeing more Ashe Seraphine around the world. That is something that is up and available. Of course, Sentinels will have last pick, so they are going to be having the option to try to counterpick down in bot side. There's already some pretty good engage on the C9 side, so they maybe are kind of less needing that. I do think Sentinels needs a go button, and huhi, just as a player for this team, it generally feels really important for him to be on engage, so I feel like they have less of an option to go towards the enchanters, but obviously Cloud9 disagrees because they're double banning enchanters. Yeah,
they really want to be able to get some lane priority for themselves on bottom side of the map. And it really does make a lot of sense, because like Flowers is saying, if you're running Taliyah and Pantheon for later in the game, you can make a lot of side lane plays, and you're assuming that Gnar is going to scale into being a good side lane threat as well in the hands of Thanatos. Seems like a safe bet there. But Bard is a really good one at kind of stuffing some of those plays. It covers a lot of these side lane bases, and some defensive Bard ults could go a long way.
Yeah, and it gives you a little bit more engage, right? You can set up then. You throw down the Bard ult on Taliyah or whoever, then the Renekton and whatnot come in to follow up on that. Plus, it's a great denial from Vulcan. So I actually really like Sentinels' draft priorities in this first game. You talked about it with Thanatos. I think they're doing the same thing with Vulcan. They're trying to target picks that are both good for them and denials from their opponents. We're going to get Yunara plus Lulu down on the bottom side, though. And it's going to be answered by Corki. So some pretty good laning power for Sentinels in the 2v2, but some really strong scaling for Zven and Vulcan.
Yeah.
And this is something that, you know, Zven has been very aggressive on. When they've run this duo, you know, constantly jumping in, trying to push out the enemy AD carry from mid lane. So I think the mid game in this first one is going to be very, very impactful. Okay. Going to be really interesting to keep track of these side lanes. You know, with one side having Realm Warp and Bard, and the other side having Taliyah Pantheon here. It's going to put a lot of emphasis as well on the top lane matchup to see who is going to actually get a lead for individual top laner who can actually have some side lane pressure. Can Impact, who has been having a better year this year than last year for sure, can he hold up to Thanatos counterpick Gnar?
It's going to be exciting to see. I'm also really curious to see how C-Line's bot lane is going to perform in the 2v2. I think they were great overall in this series against Fly. Obviously, they dominated, but they did die in the 2v2 every single game. All 3 games, they died to Masu and Cryogen. Twice they died in the 2v2, and then once it was a 2v1, so that's a little bit different, but did catch one person out and were able to kill him. So have to be able to clean that up against what we're expecting to be a tougher opponent here today in Rahel and huhi.
I mean, we heard in Kobe's interview with huhi during waiting room, right, during the lounge, that he's saying, all right, everybody on C9, they've got weapons. The rest of us are kind of fist fighting, but we think we're developing some weapons now of our own. And if that 2v2 can be the secret weapon here in game 1, that's going to feel great, especially with all of these Thanatos picks being disabled in the top side for the rest of the series, like you guys are talking about. Runes popping up on your screen right now. Summoner's Spellbook for APA's Taliyah stands out to me in particular. I want to see how creative he can get with that.
I just think it's great. To me, it's a really solid rune if you think it's just going to be a scaling matchup. You know, you're just going to be farming. You're not really going to be interacting that much. You can get a lot of value later on. But we talked about it. You touched on it, Kobe. Impact is having a much better year. Last year, to me, was historically one of his worst, if not his worst year ever in the LCS. He has been a top performer for such a long time. And it was so strange because it came off the back of the year before that, him winning an MVP and then going into this real slump. So he is back now. He's performing a lot better. And he is currently holding second place for most assists all time. First place in the LCS is held by Aframu still by quite a lot. But there's 2 other players here that are, you know, hot on his tail, shall we say, for that second place in this series with huhi and Vulcan, 2 veterans of the scene.
Yeah, and when you look at the difference between Vulcan and Impact here, it's what, 59 assists? If you have a best of 5 that goes the full distance, that's entirely achievable. So we'll keep an eye on how those assists stack up as we go throughout the series. If anybody can steal someone else's position. Right now, though, at the beginning of our game number 1, huhi is going to take a little bit of punishment down here in that bottom lane 2v2 as Zven and Vulcan want to continue to control the wave. Of course, huhi has his little shrines. Junglers are pathing towards opposite directions here early on in this one.
Yeah, that's the big thing here with the Pantheon, especially for Blaber. What sort of early impact can he get? And that's why I really like that ward that they put super early on in the river. Zven and Vulcan now going kind of aggressive off the wave and trying to get something out of the bottom lane before the Pantheon does come. But the early wards here are going to mean a lot too, because Blaber's got options for bottom lane or possibly trying to make a stun play here towards DARKWINGS and see if they could get an early summoner spell.
Okay, Impact's got that wave crashing in topside, so control up there for him means that it should be easy enough for HamBak to guarantee that he has access to this topside Scuttle Crab here with those about to spawn. You can see the wave also being crashed into the bottom lane tier 1 there by Cloud9, so they've got that same control for Blaber on this bottom part of the map, and it's looking like we're not going to get any of the crazy early crab battles, and we'll just have to wait until the usual level 6 one.
Yeah, Ambessa want to path away from the Pantheon side and pushing bottom lane here. Both of them getting their recalls off. It's Cole for Yunara and Tier for Corki. They're both fine with that. Blaber drops off the extra Raptor ward. He did pass through over the ward, so they know he's here, and they're not going to let him get the fairly efficient, little bit lazy recall off. But look at the Krug respawn timer. It's not super soon, and HamBak, since he did start Raptors, he's got the early Raptor respawn. This has become a big issue. We just saw yesterday, defending your second Raptors can win you a whole game or lose you a whole game if you int over them. So.
You know, sometimes in life you just got to make a stand, you know?
Probably not
and for junglers, it's at the second Raptors.
I don't know if it's
I'm
worth
willing
the whole
to lose
game.
the whole series, end my career over these Raptors.
Well, hey, you
That's
can
the
see
line I'm drawing.
The communication with your support is important as well. You know, huhi, since they did have that ward that was in the river there to see it come in, they're like, hey, huhi, get over here too. Just make sure we're gonna protect these. And nobody wants to fight super early on, so it means Blaber will go into a regular top-down clear again because his was a little bit delayed, starting on the red buff. Means that he's not missing any time with the interrupt. You know, he got his second Krugs respawn basically as they respawned. Same thing here with Raptors, so he still remains efficient.
Yep, HamBak going to be feeling pretty happy, though. Had a really fast clear, got to do both the respawns of those little camps, and now is out on Wolves with a better buy, has the Tunneler, so going to be pretty strong right now. And, of course, when you do get 6 for HamBak, yes, Gnar can be difficult to lane against, you know, for the Renekton, especially once he has steel caps. You know, both of them are going to rush steel caps, let's be real. But the move speed becomes really, really difficult, and it's so easy when you're in mini Gnar then. Post 6, Renekton stuns, in comes the public execution, and you can sometimes get that 100-0 play.
Got a little time here. When you do the Raptor starts, has a little bit of extra time. He actually dropped his Gromp to make this play, though. So Impact wants a dive. Level 6 Renekton here. Look at that Gnar bar. Thanatos is charging it up. HamBak in the area, and Ryze Realm Warp will be 3.
Okay, Thanatos is already in Mega Gnar. He slams Impact into the wall, but the burst damage comes down. The final turret shot can't fire, and Sentinels draw first blood.
Really well played there. I didn't think they were going to be able to pull that off until I see DARKWINGS Realm Warping in. The 2v1 dive would have been really risky, but Impact gets out without even having to flash. That is a big win. And DARKWINGS, you know, nice move from him. Yes, he's going to lose a plate. Yes, they're going to lose the dragon. So there is a cost to that, but that is a great play.
Yeah, and they called it really early on. You could tell he was like, HamBak, drop your Gromp right now. Get over here. We're going for the dive, Realm Warp. The mini-map does show what is being taken by Cloud9 on the opposite side. But also remember First Blood. So it would have been bad if the counter kill went over, because then you lose your mid-turret plate and you lose the dragon as well. But remember, the First Blood extra bonus is back in the game, so you get that extra boost of gold on top of it.
It is a small thing, but honestly, watching the replay back, I think if Thanatos angled his Gnar ult differently and actually pulled Impact towards the tower instead of towards the wall.
Just straight into the wall.
Yeah, I think he might have been able to get him.
Ooh, meanwhile, public execution here in the mid lane, and HamBak's not done. The jungler is off to a flying start here, 2-0 on the Ambessa.
HamBak always likes to get active pretty early on, and it's successfully active. Immediately using the ultimate as soon as you get it always feels so good. Put it on cooldown, make use of it the next time for your next play. He does invest the double flash. It is DARKWINGS flash and HamBak's flash to make that play, but it is beautiful. The synergy right there between them. And it looks like, you know, the communication where I interviewed huhi before, and he's like, well, we're 70% Korean right now.
That's the 30, baby.
Yeah, DARKWINGS was locked in. They're like, all right, we're both flashing for this play. Yep. I'm going to set it up. Boom, CC chain, and they get their target. They kill off APA. Sentinels here, showing some of the weaponry they were talking about.
I mean, this is just really nice. It's pretty simple play, but flash, room prison, lands a stun, then flash, public execution there to follow it up. We talked about how you can do that with Renekton. Obviously, you can do that with Ryze here as well. Yep. So, nice play from HamBak, and he is sitting on a ton of gold. He is still just being so efficient, re-clearing all his camps for bases. He's going to be on over 1,800 gold, so he's got a full item when he actually goes back to base here, pretty much, and he is going to be really tough to deal with. This champion scales incredibly well, I think, in the jungle. And because there is such good setup from the Bard, from the Ryze, from the Renekton, he is in a good position to have a great game.
Yeah, I mean, generally you're expecting the Pantheon with the point and click, you know, early levels to, you know, have some sort of openings. But Cloud9 have also been focused on the objective, so they did get their dragon, was one of the payments there. And APA at least knocked off the mid-turret plate, the first one. Those baby turrets plates are pretty easy to take, and of course Sentinels also got their one after the dive up here. So we'll see about the ramifications of that play afterwards. Impact seems to be doing quite well in the early stages, and it does set them up for the grubs take. So HamBak feeling quite good on those grubs. Doesn't look like there's going to be anyone contesting him. And they've told the bottom lane, hey, you're weak side right now. Try and play safe.
Okay, we can see APA and Blaber moving into the enemy jungle, though, thinking about using that Taliyah and Pantheon combo to make something happen. We do have the wave already crashed into the bottom lane tier 1 turret here by C9, but there's no move from the mid jungle.
And it's interesting, HamBak backed off after 1, so you just want to take one really quick rub, back off, and he got enough money there to buy his Spear of Sojin. Sojin rush for the Ambessa, so first item completed. Very early on here for the 2-kill Ambessa. There's tons of wards though. Whenever you kind of leave that bottom side of the map, you know when you're retaking this area, you see all these Cloud9 wards.
Oh yeah.
And HamBak knows it. Yes, we just left this area unattended, so there's going to be plenty of vision here.
Yeah, it's kind of just a line of wards all through. So well done there by C9. Of course, you know, they moved in on the bot side, as you're saying. That's kind of that price that you do pay. Zven and Vulcan farming well. They do have a slight advantage, but of course you're going to be pretty happy about that when you are playing the Lulu Yunara. You know, less laning power here.
Okay, Blaber up in the top side, looking to find the kill onto Impact. Thanatos already hits him with the Mega Gnar. They don't have quite enough damage, though. Impact with a flash away, stays alive.
Yeah, good defensive play from Impact, you know, backed off early as he saw the aggressive positioning from Thanatos and the Mega Gnar walking at him, and then he's able to use his flash after Blaber had to use his for the engage. So it is a 1-for-1 on summoner spell trade, and really Impact is fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 1-for-1 on that, but the cost to me, the biggest cost is the Pantheon ult is such a long cooldown. It's nearly a 3-minute cooldown early game.
Yeah.
So when I see my Pantheon jungle hasn't been able to find anything on the other side, you have 2-0 Ambessa, and then you use your first ult, and you get nothing from that either. Like, that hurts because, you know, Blaber's not going to have much playmaking now until, you know, really after this next dragon fight would already be done, so they're not going to contest it. It's just going to be a dragon take on the bot side for the Ambessa.
Yeah, and again, now they're the ones with the deep wards because top side play was Cloud9's. They show junglers. So not only is it your Pantheon ult as well as your Pantheon flash, but it gives vision of your jungler and allowed HamBak and Sentinels to move into the blue quadrant. They're the ones with the deep wards now. They're the ones with the dragon take.
And gentlemen, we get to have the Hex Rift for our first game in this best of 5. The most chaotic of the rifts, the one that allows the fastest playmaking, the fastest responses. And I want to see if Sentinels are up to the task of using that to continue trying to accelerate the game. HamBak had a great first couple of plays, but things have been pretty quiet afterwards.
Honestly, I actually like it. Usually I'm like, oh, quiet, you know, I'm getting a little bored, but I really like it because we've had so many blowouts so far. This week we had back-to-back 3-0s, and this one is looking very competitive here, at least in the early stages. Huhi has been able to slip in for a lane gank.
Okay.
Oh, just barely couldn't get range actually for the stun. And that's going to give some freedom to make a play on the bot side for Blaber, but they're sending 4 top now. They're looking to just try to re-dive Thanatos.
Yeah, they want Thanatos, but he's already turned into Mega Gnar, and he's stopping the wave before it ever hits the turret. So there's nothing there to set this up. And Sentinels are going to send all that manpower up there for nothing so far.
That was 5 top.
And it results in a 1.2k gold lead now for Zven individually. Look at this Yunara just decimating the bottom tower here. Cloud9, they still have Blaber. They can go for a dive or try and get first tower. They've got 4.
Yep, they're bringing everybody down here. Impact has already popped the Dominus, trying to clear the wave out of the way and stop this from going down. But no, it's C9 finally finding their first kill of the game. 12 minutes in, they make the 4-man dive happen.
Yeah, the wheels just kind of fell off there for Sentinels. They way overcommitted to that topside play. They were too slow to actually execute on it. You send 5 top, Thanatos clears the wave, so he's not even losing anything before he bases. And on the bot side, Zven is farming plates. They make the dive happen down there. Zven is now 1.7k up, and Sentinels went from 1,000 gold lead to a 600 gold deficit in a matter of a minute, 2 minutes, and now the tower is going to fall as well. This game is already getting out of hand. Zven is going to be such a problem. He's going to base with, let's see, 2,500 gold in pocket.
Yeah, first tower bonus feels really good for the bottom lane. Even though it's answered on top side, it's being that much slower really does have a huge effect. And the extra kill into Zven's pockets as well. I mean, Yunara is an AD carry champion that can certainly carry against short-range clumps of champions very, very heavily.
Especially with Lulu in her back pocket, that is frightening for Sentinels to try to assassinate this high-value target. Fiend Hunter Bolt's just completely purchased straight up right there for the Yunara.
He one-shots it already. His ult is going to be insane. Yunara ult here is going to be the biggest cooldown that you have to play around.
And I always feel like it's so difficult when you have a team comp like this. As Impact is going to be pushing Thanatos back, but he should be fine. Because clearly now, Yunara is so fed that Sentinels basically can't win fights unless you kill Yunara first, right? So that is now your goal. But then you look around him, and you're having to go through Pantheon, through the unraveled earth of the Taliyah with all these champions that want to dash in and get on top of him, and then through the Lulu shields and the polymorph and the barrier, and like there's so many tools that it is really, really rough now for Sentinels to have allowed Zven to get this fed, because there's a lot of tools that you're going to have to deal with to even try to get access to him.
I'm seeing a little bit of pathing. I'm just trying to watch because everybody's hanging out in this like southern quadrant of the map, and I want to see if they want to make a move. Huhi's the one finding himself in danger. Arc of Ruin plus the Wild Growth. It's Vulcan taking the kill, but C9's bottom lane, they're showing us what this farm means.
Yeah, you can just feel it. Sven's like, I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm strong. I want to use it. And as soon as he sees any target, and Huhi even being close to the brush, he immediately jumps the wall, destroys him. Fiend Hunter bolts on display there. You saw how quickly he was able to burst him down. Plus it gives you ultimate ability haste, so it'll be back up again for another play, and they should have control of the next dragon here, you would assume, for Cloud9.
Yet the Yunara ulti is already halfway off cooldown. That thing is coming back around real fast.
Yeah, it is really a quick cooldown here. Sentinel's going to try to make a fast play. Well, it is still on cooldown, though. Going to try to grab the Herald. You can see it is the Ardent Sensor rush for Vulcan. So he's just saying, you know what? It is all about Zven. Just get all of the buff items for Zven. You already have the additional attack speed. Obviously, you're giving him from the Whimsy if you're using that offensively. Plus the Ardent Sensor on hit damage as well as the attack speed there. And that is just amplifying him that much further.
And as long as Zven can get peeled by both the Lulu and the Taliyah, it makes it incredibly hard for Ambessa. If you have a rock field in front of you, you just have to back off. You have to like walk away. No way he's gonna be able to fight over it. So, like you've been saying, like Zven has a lot of stuff around him that also makes it easy to play. Double summoner spells, lots of setup from his teammates. Here comes that dragon we're talking about. Cloud9, they've got the control wards really early, so they also have vision advantage and early positioning.
Yep, and the Wild Growth is just about ready to go again here for the Lulu, but the fight's already going to start, and it's a lot of damage onto HamBak. The Fed Ambessa is about to get bursted down, polymorphed, and Thanatos takes the kill. Now Impact's going to try to get away, but Zven is on the hunt. APA rides the Weaver's Wall, and Rahel barely escapes. C9 find 2 kills very easily and go to claim their prize.
Yeah, I mean, HamBak is in there almost alone. Over the rocks, just gets destroyed very quickly. Even like Huhi barred ults, like, you know, to try and buy some time. Maybe they could think of a way to get him out of there afterwards, but unsuccessful. And Cloud9 very quickly making it look like, no, this is going to be a one-sided affair here, that because of the vision advantage in that side brush.
Yeah, vision advantage comes through. Bardal just to give you some time to think about what you've done. Think about your mistakes in life. Wonder how you got there, as Zven is going to clear it up. They are just crushing through this fight, and now the game is really out of control.
And this is the thing. With Cloud9's success as it continues, this tournament, what has really been on the biggest display, because, yeah, you know, a lot of these guys are really good individual players, but their team synergy and the way they pull off really quick snap plays has been what has really rewarded this team. A lot of them have been through the mid game. It hasn't been just like, oh, we're crushing all the lanes from the very beginning.
Okay, sorry. Thought we almost had another HamBak kill there underneath the tier 1 turret.
A healthy amount of worry, and Thanatos now trying to get away as Gnar will have to flash, but Cloud9's synergy has been on display, and you know, this is one of the things that people thought as we take a look at the Pantheon ult. Started it all.
Pretty simple Pantheon ult. You know, they knew that Corki had no flash, so he gets in behind him.
Yeah. Okay, let's see now. HamBak going towards the enemy jungle. They still want to try to make this move onto Thanatos, who does have his Gnar Bard charged. The turret is disabled there by the Bard ulti, but now the stun underneath the Mega Gnar to follow it up, but no, he's still all alone. Thanatos will fall. Sentinels doesn't lose anybody, and they're going to try to force down this tier 1 turret.
And nicely done by Huhi. He goes down towards bot side, forces a flash from Thanatos, and then just sets up the redive, turn off the tower. Thanatos really couldn't have played it any better, but Huhi's tanking the tower at max range, so nothing he can do to knock him down. DARKWINGS is getting punished a little bit here by Zven, who's just, I mean, Sentinels knows they can't fight around Zven. They have to just try to go elsewhere, try to get picks in the side lanes, hope that you can buy some time for someone to catch up, because Zven is basically the whole lead. Like, he's 3K ahead individually, and that is ridiculous at this point of the game. Sitting on almost 1,200 gold, so almost has his BF, and that means he is closing in on that infinity edge where Rahel is miles away from anything resembling that.
Yeah, so I think that you're going to have to try and continue to make some side lane plays here for Sentinels. You want to try and get your way back into this, you know, get split push on some of these side lanes going and see if you can make some sort of roam or realm warp over to the other side. Huhi's Bard ultimate is still on cooldown from the previous play, but next time it is up, there's no flash on Yunara. And it makes it difficult because her ultimate, she can just instantly go for another dash anyway. But maybe they can do something there while the Zven flash is down and he's a little bit more vulnerable.
Sentinels do have some power spikes on the horizon, but it is still a little ways away. You can see the stacking items are all still in the process of stacking, right? The Muramana, not quite there yet. The Manamune only 3/4 of the way stacked for Rahel. Meanwhile, in DARKWINGS inventory, still needs 3 more stacks on Rod of Ages. Just about has the Seraph's Embrace fully evolved, though. And once they hit those power spikes, that might be the green light that they need to feel like, hey, we can make a bigger move.
Yeah. And while the Yunara gets the spotlight, the Lulu is a really problematic one because on the side of Sentinels, your fed person is your melee jungle carry, but Lulu just makes melee carries life's hell. It's so annoying to play into this champion. And so we're going to go for another pick from the side of C9 here, Blaber Olsen.
Wow, they are full sending it after impact here. Originally, I thought they might not be able to get him, and I was right. Thanatos' first boomerang, just barely missing impact, is the difference between C9 finding that kill or not.
And they're summoning Herald topside, so we'll see if they can actually get this full tower. Looks like they can, so that's something nice for Sentinels. They survive the play here, and they're at least getting something back on the top side, going to be able to realm warp out. I didn't know you could realm warp the Herald, actually.
I wanted him to charge right out of it, but it went instantly into the wall.
DARKWINGS is in some danger. He's got to try to get out of there. Is polymorph, but luckily he does have the ghost to get himself all the way out alongside the phase rush. So C9's not going to get a kill there, but they do force the summoner spells out of the Ryze.
I was hoping we were going to see the teleport car crash play, where you teleport the Herald in and immediately like run someone over, but not quite there. Too close to a wall.
Not going to be able to make it happen, but still, nice play from them. And we're going to get the replay of the realm warp.
It's facing up right now, and then it goes right next to the wall, so I assume it's like instantly donked.
Yeah, it just immediately bangs into the wall.
All right, scientific term.
Yeah.
Donk.
I hate it when I donk my car into the wall.
Huhi did say Cloud9 are the ones that are like scientists, and then we are the ones that are just, you know, going to throw our fists at them, let our fists do the talking. Okay.
All right, they're trying to make a play onto Thanatos here, and as soon as HamBak shows up, that might be what they need, but the Tempered Fate does not catch the Gnar. Thanatos now back into mini form as HamBak has made his way into the fight. C9, meanwhile, are going to secure the Drake for themselves, but it does cost their top laner.
Yeah, Cloud9 got to be careful. If you give away too many of these plays on side lanes, that gold can add up. Currently, though, they're still fairly confident with their mid push.
Yep.
But look at the side lanes. Renekton's still pushing bottom, so it's kind of closing in around them. Sentinels will be able to get the Scuttle Crab by Baron. Can they use it as a bait? I don't think they actually want to start it much, but would rather like bait and see if anyone comes to check for C9s. Cloud9 not going to unnecessarily put anyone at risk, though.
Yeah, it's so dangerous for Sentinels to go close to Zven with that Infinity Edge completed, with the Fiend Hunter bolts. Those first 3 shots are just high caliber hits.
You probably die in the first 3 shots.
Yeah, the first 3, if you're not Impact or maybe HamBak, you just kind of die to it instantly. It's really, really strong. The Yunara has to be respected now more than ever. And the problem is, it's 4 minutes from now that Sentinels must answer the Drake. Cloud9 now on sole point, and this is why it's so difficult to deal with compositions like this Yunara that has all this protection, because now Cloud9 is just going to show up as 5 and say, all right, you have to fight Yunara now. You have no choice.
So Cloud9, a lot of things going well for them. Something not going as well for them is Thanatos has been really wanting a player of the game. He was talking on the Cloud9 podcast. You know, he was saying how they need to stop winning so early because he can't actually get MVP, he can't get player of the game. And then Thanatos himself was saying, you know, in their last series, Game 3, if it went long, he was going to 1v9, he was going to win it. but unfortunately it did not go long. They closed it out too quick, and they were kind of joking back and forth. This was a podcast with an arrow as well as Vulcan. Vulcan was saying, okay, don't worry. If we're about to get a kill next game, we're gonna back off so you can have more time to 1v9. So we decided we were gonna track who is on the race towards player of the game, Kobe.
Wow. I think this game...
It's not looking good for Thanatos. I would say we have someone out to an obvious early lead. Want to give us the marker of where he is. How close is he to the finish line?
Sven is like at least halfway right now. He's like all the way out to here. Thanatos, I mean, it's not that close to 30 minutes.
He's driving the wrong way.
So maybe he makes some more gains later on, but I think Zven is
out to the early lead.
Yeah,
AP's been having a good game.
Vulcan also. He's part of that.
Gotta give credit to the Lulu.
Credit to the Lulu.
He maxed W this game.
Yunara wouldn't be who she is without the Lulu, okay? Every good Yunara has a Lulu right beside them.
All right, we'll see if Thanatos can have his 1v9 mega moment, but it's going to be hard to outpace this Yunara, man.
Yeah, to be fair, we're 24.5 minutes, so he's got some. They told him we'll give you to 30.
Slow it down.
We'll give you to 30 minutes.
Okay. Gonna need some pentakills or something though to catch up.
Yeah, some.
A couple. Was Vulcan also not too surprising, but you were talking about how annoying it is to play as a melee carry against Lulu. Yeah. He did go W max this game, so he went 1 point Q, 3 points E, and then just full 5 points into the W. So that polymorph is going to be that much more frustrating. It really is so difficult to deal with. I mean, you fly in there. There's no other way to play the fight. You have to go into the backline as Ambessa, but you immediately are going to get polymorphed and wild growth.
Sentinels going in, trying to find the Pantheon, but Blaber blocks almost all of the damage. Flashing away, trying to stay safe, getting the other side of the unraveled earth, and now C9 fires back. DARKWINGS, defensive flash getting out. Thanatos, wild growth here on the front line. APA tries to scatter. Zven looking for the damage, trying to find huhi. Gets one kill. HamBak goes after Zven, but he can't kill him. The pocket Lulu is there for the save. It's a triple kill for Zven's Yunara. Impact will fall now as well. The fight was so close at the start, but C9 comes out on top.
That's why I put Vulcan up there in the race. He flashed over the wall to get there when Zven dashes in for the 1v3 at the end.
Yeah, Zven just kind of biding his time. Blaber, it looks like, is going to be in some trouble. They're able to focus him down, but watch Zven right here. He finds his time, flashes forward. As Rahel was moving up, he was focusing him down, and then as he bounced back, just flashes in and Vulcan follows.
And I'm pretty sure he just dodged the Ambessa ult with the same move. He dodges the Ambessa ult and gets into their faces, and then the Lulu flashes in to support the play. Like, that was quite good. For Cloud9.
C9 looking strong after that one. 5,000 gold lead after they take the fight. HamBak is still the only one on the Sentinel side with an individual lead for himself, but Zven is up 5,000 gold on Rahel.
All right, Azael, what's our update?
He's getting pretty close to the finish line. It's going to take a miraculous comeback.
Yeah,
Vulcan's still there with him. He's there. He's there too. He's saying, "Good job, buddy. You can do it."
Did Thanatos get shorter, or is it the same?
It's like there.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
It's not this game.
It's a best of 5. He'll have plenty of chances to get his player of the game here. But Zven does now have Lord Dominic's regards as well here on the Yunara. Sentinels thinking about how they're going to try to position and play this. Remember, the Drake is now alive. This is the Hextech Soul if C9 can secure it. So Sentinels are trying to make a gambit for the Baron instead. C9 trying to answer as Thanatos zones impact away. APA and Vulcan on the approach. It's all about Zven. huhi wrapping around the back of the pit, just trying to keep an eye on how C9 are positioning. HamBak has lost half his HP, and DARKWINGS has nearly done the same.
I like the camera we have on Zven right there. He's doing a lot of talking, especially for an AD carry. But when you are the center and you know it, yeah, exactly. But when you are the center, you are so fed right now. It's like the game is in our hands, and they have the Hextech Soul on top of it. No fight necessary for that Soul because of all the previous ones that they have won. But it is a huge power spike, and Zven knows he is the king in the castle right now. So. Let everybody know what you want to do, and they will just play around you.
And he has the LDR completed as well. Rahel has kind of made a pit stop for more of a utility item. He has the Serpent's Fang. He's going to be going Collector next, so it's like IE is so far away. He's never going to finish at this game, realistically. But Zven is going to be just pumping, and APA has had the Actualizer for a long time. Now he has the Death Cap and 8 stacks on the Dark Seal, so he is also a real threat.
We actually haven't been tracking that horse in our race, the APA horse or
invisible horse
or the Blaber horse either. So just because the Zven one is so far out in the front.
It's a flashy horse.
Well, they're going to have...
It's also the tallest horses.
True. We just can't see the other horses. He's blocking the view.
Stands so
Are you
high.
with us, Flowers? Are you visualizing the horses?
I'm imagining the tall Zven horse right now as C9 are imagining a Baron for themselves. Sentinels is going to have to find some kind of an answer here. The Baron is already down to 4,000 HP. Tempered Fate going to buy them only a moment. Sentinels got to try to get in there as C9 are going to go ahead and secure the objective. HamBak jumps in only to die. Thanatos gets back to the safety of his team, and the remaining 4 Sentinels now have to scatter. The Weaver's Wall sends APA to his own demise, but Zven is still free firing. Blaber barely gets away. Wild Growth onto the jungler as they pick up the additional kill there onto Impact. Zven can't get anyone else, so it is a 2-for-1 trade favoring C9, and they acquire the Baron.
Honestly, I respect it from HamBak. He's like, you know what? I'm going to try and steal it. I ult in. It's a little bit too late, but it's really hard to pull that play off anyways. Afterwards, though, a little surprise kill here they get on APA.
Yeah, APA just going too far. You know, I think his thought process is Lulu's behind me. We have Wild Growth. You know, you can heal Wild Growth. You can kind of bait them, keep the fight going, and then Zven just cleans up. But he went a little bit too far.
Sorry, bro, that Wild Growth. It only works when I click it on Yunara.
Come on, 2 seconds. I'm going to Renekton side. I'm going to Renekton side. Go Renekton, no flash. No flash, though.
No flash.
The flash, though, still good. They got Baron, they have Hex Soul, and they've got the red buff on top.
Oh, Dokla's going to join us
Oh,
on
cool.
the desk.
Big dose. Big desk.
Yeah.
Our desk is not that big over there with the analyst area.
Of the famed Worlds vlogs.
Yeah.
We all love a good Ni Hao Dokla here.
When we toss it back to them, that better be how they answer.
We need Dokla to intro the analyst desk. We're throwing it to Dokla, not the rest of them.
Yeah. I'm not tossing it to Raz.
Pipe down, Raz.
Yeah, we're only doing the toss specifically to Dokla after this game.
Yep.
And C9's looking to make that a very near occurrence. They're 8,000 gold ahead. They've got the Hex Soul. They've got 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining on their Baron power play, and they're pushing the top lane.
It's truly fortunate that we have a top laner to analyze the huge impact that top laners have had in this game.
1, 4, and 2, and 1, 3, and 4. Huge. 1 kill versus 1 kill.
130 gold lead for Thanatos. Is that player game material?
There you go. There you go.
There.
And even after all this time, HamBak still has his individual gold lead on the Ambessa. However, it has shrank down to 300. Meanwhile, Zven's individual gold lead, 6,500. Weaver's Wall going to cut off Sentinels from trying to defend the tier 3 turret. They can still get there in time as the wave does start to get eradicated by the damage. Impact off to the side a little bit compared to everybody else, seeing if maybe Zven will step just a little bit too far up. Impact does have flash now, so they can try to go for a flash Ruthless Predator, but it's so hard to burst down this Yunara through the Lulu protecting him. And now Zven, just a couple more auto attacks, will take out the tier 3 turret. Thanatos split pushing over in the mid lane here at the same time. Blaber's going to take a little bit of damage, but he can resist most of it because he's Pantheon. Will finally fall. HamBak gets that kill, but Zven has already jumped in and equalized, taking one back on Impact. Now HamBak will die next. Vulcan takes the kill on that. It's 2 dead on the Sentinel's side, but the remaining 3 are barely clinging to life. Zven and Vulcan are saying, that's all right, you guys go PvP, we're going to end the game. Thanatos gets an additional kill, and Zven takes out the first Nexus turret. He and Vulcan will put in the work here on the second one. TP coming in on the minion just to reinforce the C9 lines. APA has rejoined the team. DARKWINGS flashes away from a seismic shove. Thanatos hops right on in to try to force the Ryze even further back. C9 wants to pad the stats a little bit as Zven looks for the additional kill here on Rahel and shoots him down in his own fountain. They'll complete the ace, and C9 take game 1.
Zven ends the game with an individual gold lead of 8.6K. That is crazy. C9's bot lane looking monstrously strong in this one. Spam chat now. Who is your player of the game? Dokla, who's your player of the game? I'm curious about.
Yeah, we voted for Zven.
Dokla?
Dokla, who'd you vote for? Player of the game?
It was a really tough choice here between Zven, and Zven.
Vulcan's Lulu ult.
Yeah. So I mean, what is it? Almost 8K gold lead individually. I don't see how it could go to anyone else.
Yeah, pretty insane. Dokla, thanks for joining us. You had your 3-0 yesterday. While we were watching the game, it was close until it wasn't. And you identified the fight where you think everything changed. And you said, hey, that's the